So I've been participating in Video Every Day in August, better known as VEDA. This is something that I learned about through a friend of mine, Addie Torrent. And Addie lives across the pond, and if you don't know much about him, you should search and check out his channel. But he does a lot of videos, but also he's a pretty amazing photographer. And he knows more about film photography and film cameras than I'll probably ever know. Addie kind of came across this idea of VEDA, Video Every Day in August, and he decided to put himself out there on the line, and he was going to do it, and he sort of, I felt like it was a little bit of a challenge to other people to participate and create a video every day in August. So I thought, well, I'm going to give this a try. So I've been creating videos, and I think I've pretty much created a video every day. But I think this is probably going to be my last today, at least from the perspective of VEDA. It's not that I couldn't continue for the next 4 days or whatever it is to create a video every day. It's that I think I've learned what I wanted to learn by participating in it, which is that I don't enjoy doing a video every day. There are times when I probably did enjoy the process, certainly the studio creation and the behind the scenes a little bit stuff, the trips that I've done for the video production stuff, but there were some days where I really didn't enjoy the production, and those were days where I didn't have real valuable content I felt to share, which, those are days where you're, for me personally, where I'm doing a lot of paperwork or data entry, document stuff, or maybe a full day of video editing. Yesterday was actually one of those days. I spent the majority of the day just doing computer work, sitting at this desk here, buried in video production, editing, and they were projects that I needed to work on, but they're not projects that I could easily share the content of. And they're not finished product yet. So I think that maybe it depends upon what the style of the content you like to produce or want to produce as well. The process has been interesting. It does force you to learn a little bit about how you like to create. And that's probably one of the points of the whole thing. The other thing I think that it does is I think it can really help you learn to be creative. It definitely makes you flex that creative muscle a little bit. I'm sure I did things and made content throughout this month that I wouldn't have done otherwise. I don't feel like that it really stretched me from the perspective of my editing abilities or production ability. I feel like that if I actually have projects that take a little bit more time, that I will pour more effort into the production of those. And I think that yields a better product overall. But some people, I think this really would be of benefit. It gets you into the habit, for sure. It gets you into the routine. It makes you become comfortable with editing and sound and all those things. But I was pretty comfortable with that already. I know a lot of YouTubers and people out there, they like to do daily vlogs, and they have maybe large audiences, and I'm sure perhaps there's some benefit to the algorithm or all those things. I just don't know if it's my thing. The thing that I want to keep in mind for myself is that what I really want to do is create content that hopefully has some value. Now, I think that's something we hear a lot, and I think that I've always felt that way. But I think that what I'm doing more and more is evaluating about what value does that provide. So the video that I posted yesterday was the podcast that Jerry and I put together. And one of the things we talked about is that podcast really needs to provide some value. So what's the value proposition that we're offering to the listener or the viewer? And let's keep that in mind when we pick topics and the things we talk about, and make it a real focus of almost like what's the learning objective somewhat. So if you've ever done any educational content, You definitely want to have what the objective of the lesson is, etc. I think you need to think about those kind of things when you're creating video, at least for me, because I really think that there are 2, maybe 3 major categories of video that gets created. And I think educational is one of them. And that's pretty broad, but it's usually about learning about a product or a thing or a technology, or even learning something about yourself, whether it be people who are talking about, just use an example, some kind of a condition that they want to share some information about. It's usually some sort of educational opportunity. And the second main category is entertainment. Outside of those 2 categories, and maybe there are more, I'm sure there are, but it's really small and niche. It's just not that broad. Most of the time, people are there for either entertainment or they're learning something. Whether they really think they're learning something or not, it's usually somehow educational. I found it difficult to match those 2 criteria or any of those criteria on some days, because some days just weren't entertaining. There wasn't really a lot going on. Office work, paperwork, deep dive editing is not very entertaining. And secondly, I didn't want to take the time to kind of create some sort of a tutorial or to teach about what it's like to be in business today, because I just needed to get those things accomplished. So I think a lot of the vloggers who are out there create a lot of content that is entertaining. I'm not sure that that's necessarily my wheelhouse, but the educational side of things, I think I do enjoy more. So, talking about products or talking about things that we're doing, building a studio, all of that kind of stuff I enjoy, and I think could be useful to someone who's doing something similar. It's certainly kind of a niche, but it's content that I've enjoyed. So I guess the lesson in all of this, if you're to wrap it all up, is generally speaking, it's probably a good idea to create content that you enjoy. Content that you would find useful out there. Things that you like to watch, things that you enjoy. And if you enjoy it and if you watch it, there are definitely people out there who would enjoy similar content that you create. Each of us, I do believe, has something to contribute, something that's useful, a perspective if nothing else, but also experience. Even the youngest person out there has some experience that they can share with the world, and that is one of the things you will learn from doing daily vlogging a little bit. But at the same time, I don't want to overwhelm the viewership with just a bunch of nonsense. So, yeah, I think this is my last day of this. It's been great, to learn these things. It always is. So I appreciate you following along and putting up with my video every day in August. I am going to try to tailor the channel a little bit more, though, because what I really enjoy is the cinematography, the videography, the filmography, whatever you want to call it. Cinematography seems like such a pretentious term, doesn't it? But I enjoy videography. I enjoy creating content for businesses and individuals and weddings and things of that nature. That stuff's all fun for me. I enjoy the products that we shoot with and use and have found useful. I enjoy sharing that content. I enjoy cycling and certainly sailing if I ever get to get on the boat again, if it ever stops raining here. And travel is fun. I enjoy that. I don't get to do that as often as maybe I'd like. Those are the things that I really want to share. And perhaps that is the entire point of participating in VEDA, is to really force you to think about the things you enjoy and the things you want to share. So anyway, thanks for following along. I appreciate it. And if you've listened to this point, you deserve a gold medal or something. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon, but it might not be tomorrow.